Man City. That is a 4-1 win for them, a big boost for them as well. And let's take a look at how things are looking in the standings right now. Manchester City in 6th as it stands on 34 points. We do know that we've seen them have strong second half seasons, but maybe it would be too much of an ask here. However, are City getting back into gear from what we've seen lately?
No.
No?
Watching this game at 2-0 for City, you're still not sure. And West Ham had a lot of counter-attacks that, had they made better decisions in the final third, it could have been a little different. At the same time, City scored 4 and they could have scored more. But no, this City team's miles from where they were. Miles.
And you're saying at 2-0. At 4-1, there are a couple of attacks by West Ham that you go, oh my goodness. And look, and if we're feeling it from thousands of miles away, that stadium was feeling it too. And there's this nervous energy right now around Manchester City. Some of the defending is still very sort of, I hope we can tackle this ball. I hope we can get there. There isn't any certainty about the way that they're playing structurally. And I think what's important today is that you freed up Erling Haaland in scoring a couple of goals, that you get something positive out of Savinho, that you get some productivity in the attack, that there was an explosion of goals, and you can certainly call it that from Manchester City, that 4 goals is not something that we become accustomed to given the fact that they have struggled to create enough opportunities. And all those things are positive. But 4-1, I think, lies about what this game was all about and how it was played and how in the early moments West Ham actually had a couple of chances themselves through Kudus and other players. And Manchester City are still in trouble. Now, this is a much better to turn up for work the next day and that you've won the game, and it feels I think it fills the locker room with a lot more confidence than otherwise. But I still think that if you clearly and objectively analyze the match itself, there's a lot of work to be done by Manchester City. They're a long way away from what we think they can be.
Was this Savinho showing what he could offer, though?
Absolutely. I thought he was outstanding on the day. And I have to say, I saw this game a little bit differently, and maybe I'm far more cynical when it comes to West Ham. But at no point... The only point I thought City were in trouble, Somerville robbed, I think it was a Kanji, in his own defensive third, and it got called back for a foul. Yeah. I thought it was a questionable foul. I thought it definitely was a home field decision. Had Somerville gone on and scored that, I thought you really started to feel the City crowd getting nervous because of that uncertainty that Ali and Steve spoke about. But I've just seen a little bit too much of West Ham this season. I at no point I thought they were coming back in the game, honestly. And I just feel that West Ham are the team you want to play when you're having a bad time. They will give you chances, and that's what City did. So, while, yes, City, certainly the scoreline suggests absolutely romp away with this, it doesn't in any way suggest that City are anywhere near to being back to where they once were. It just, for me, the cynic, speaks more about West Ham's own feelings.
You've changed, Shaq. You've come back a cynic.
Let's talk about Erling Haaland then, with 2 goals today. Getting the service, as you mentioned in the highlights as well. 2 very different goals as well.
Right, but it's not a surprise. What's surprising is that they don't do this more often. Yeah. What is surprising is that they don't get themselves in a position when they get a half a yard of space, as Savinho did, and let me put a good ball in. Let me put a good service in and see who's gonna go get that service. The defender or the beast that I have playing up top, that's gonna dunk over at the back post. I just don't know why they, even more so when you're struggling, which they have been, then find other ways to break down teams. It doesn't have to be perfect. And while that ended up being a perfect service from Savinho, I just think it opens up a lot more things that you can do underneath if you push people back by serving the ball in behind. And the second goal by Erling Haaland, that is something that is available to Manchester City all the time. But you have to have a runner with the ball who can create separation with his speed, which Savinho did, and then get their head up to play the ball forward, between lines, through defenders, vertical, in behind. Just put.
The manager doesn't want to.
I know. So that's why I'm speaking out. I'm speaking out against playing it there and there, playing forward, because you have a guy that will go and get it. Not only will go and get it, but will finish in the manner in which he did. I've never understood why Manchester City continue to avoid utilizing the skill set of Erling Haaland properly.
Let's take a look at the lineup as well from
Forward.
Manchester City today when we're talking about forward and attacking players. This is the best front six today with what they've currently got, Stevie.
Oh.
You all right?
Do you know what? Let's be honest here. De Bruyne was bang average today. Bernardo Silva was bang average today. Phil Foden scored a goal, but he was okay. Savinho and Haaland were the standout. So I'm not going forward with some fantastic front six. No. Half of the goals he scored were because Savinho, it seems, hasn't been indoctrinated yet as much as Pep wants to. I mean, even after the game, Pep was talking about, yeah, Savinho did well, but there was a lot of things that he could do, he can improve on. And I've got to think, in the back of Pep's head, he's talking about, well, he needs to keep the ball a bit more. You know, we're sitting here salivating over the fantastic cross and his goal and all the other things and the through ball, but Pep just doesn't seem as though he wants that. And so, that front six, you want to call it that, it was bang average, and it's been bang average for the last, how many, 12 games?
So they're not turning a corner.
No.
All right.
They're peeking around the corner.
Shaq
It's like
didn't take it long for his words of wisdom, by the way. Anybody who's struggling wants to play West Ham.